Okay, winning a world title, that's impressive, for sure. But winning 3 in a row at a world record pace, that's a whole different level. At the 2026 World Indoor Championships, we basically saw the entire sport shift on its axis. A new, much higher standard of performance has been set. So today, we're going to decode exactly what that new standard looks like. So I've got to ask you this right off the bat. Are you training for yesterday's sport? Seriously. Because if you aren't keeping tabs on how the world's best are evolving, you're pretty much preparing for a standard that doesn't even exist anymore. And look, the proof is right there. These championships weren't just about handing out medals. They were about hitting the reset button on expectations across the board. The performances we saw have literally changed what it means to be world class. So where do we start? Well, our first piece of evidence, you could call it the inciting incident for this whole new era, comes from the 60-meter hurdles. Let's dig into how Devin Charlton just completely redefined what it means to dominate this event. Just look at that number, 7.65 seconds. Wow. That isn't just a winning time, folks. That's a world record level performance. It's a huge statement that the ceiling for this event, it's just been shattered. Now, what's really crazy is that this was her third straight indoor title. This was no accident. It was like the final step in a clear, 3-part plan for total dominance. First, you win one. Then, you prove it wasn't a fluke and defend it. And finally, you just set a new standard so high that everyone else is left scrambling to catch up. Okay, but this new standard isn't just about being insanely fast. It's about being incredibly smart. So now, we're going to zoom out a bit and really analyze the tactical systems that the fastest women on the planet are using to win. And check this out. We've got 3 different athletes, 3 different events, and basically 3 masterclasses in how to run a race. You've got Keely Hodgkinson just taking control of the 800, Georgia Hunterbell leading a ridiculously fast pack in the 1500, and Lourdes Gloria Manuel with a perfectly timed kick in the 400. Let's break them down. Keely Hodgkinson's 155.30 in the 800, that was just a clinic in absolute dominance. She didn't sit and wait. No, she grabbed the race by the horns right from the gun, set a brutal pace, and basically dared anyone to even try and hang with her. That's what total control from the front looks like. It's a huge strategic risk that just screams, I'm fitter than you and I'm about to prove it. Then you switch over to the 1500 meters. Georgia Hunterbell wins with a blistering 358.53. But here's the real kicker. She led an entire podium of women who all ran under 4 minutes. Think about that. It's not about one fast runner anymore. It's a sign of unbelievable, unprecedented depth. The sub-4 minute 1500 is now the price of admission if you even want to think about a medal. And it's not just the 1500. We're seeing the same kind of depth in the 3000 meters, where Nadia Battocletti just continued her amazing rise and snagged the gold. Across all the distance events, the entire pack is getting faster, deeper, and way, way smarter. All right, so we've talked speed, we've talked tactics on the track. Now let's switch gears and head over to the field events, where a whole new dimension of raw power is redefining what's possible, both vertically and horizontally. First up, let's talk vertical force. Yaroslava Mahuchik in the high jump, she soared over an incredible 2.01 meters. Getting over that bar isn't just about having an explosive jump. It requires nearly perfect technique. It's a height that very few women in history have ever cleared, cementing her place at the absolute pinnacle of the sport. Then you've got horizontal power. Leonis Perez in the triple jump launched herself an insane 14.95 meters. To give you some perspective, that's almost the length of a bowling lane. And she did it through this perfectly timed sequence of a hop, a step, and a jump to win gold against a totally stacked field. Just amazing. And finally, let's talk pure, unadulterated strength. Chase Jackson in the shot put. A dominant throw of 20.14 meters. This wasn't just a win, it was a massive statement. Throwing over 20 meters indoors puts you in a truly elite global class, and she did it with that rotational technique that perfectly combines speed and power. So if you think about it, it's all about how that power is applied, right? You've got Makuchik literally fighting gravity to go up, and then you have athletes like Agate de Souza, who won the long jump with 6.92 meters, channeling that same explosive power to fly forward. It's just total mastery across different planes of movement. So what does this all boil down to? What's the big takeaway here? We've seen some absolutely stunning individual performances, but the final piece of this new standard is about something even bigger. It's about team strength and global depth. Let's put all the pieces together. And honestly, nothing shows this better than the USA women's 4x400-meter relay. Their winning time of 3:25.81 was the ultimate proof of team strength. It proves that to be the best in the world now, you don't just need one superstar. You need a deep roster of athletes who can all deliver when the pressure is on. So really, the new standard is made up of a few key things. First, world record speed isn't a surprise anymore. It's practically expected. Second, tactical mastery is completely non-negotiable. You have to be smart. Third, we're seeing a crazy level of depth across almost every event. And finally, team strength and global competition are rising fast. That's what it takes to be world-class right now. And that brings us right back to where we started. The new standard isn't on its way. It's here. It's already arrived. So the only real question left is, how are you going to meet it?